What a win for the Ohio State Buckeyes on the road, 35-16, and there is no way they win this game over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights without TreVeyon Henderson, who for the second week in a row had a monster individual performance. Again today, over 200 yards of total offense between what he did on the ground and on a really long catch. Anthony, I thought, Rutgers defensively did a pretty good job of not letting Ohio State beat them over the top. They regularly were giving up things underneath, but they gave TreVeyon way too much space on a couple of occasions, and he really burned them.
Yeah, he's been very fun to watch these past couple of weeks because you can see almost in his eyes like this incredible uptick in sense of urgency and just his ability above the rest of the running backs in the room. And honestly, compared to everyone else on the field, like he's become, one of the better guys that Ohio State has from a production standpoint and from just just watching him play. His athletic ability is off the charts. Finishing the game, 22 carries for 128 and a score on the ground, and then 5 catches for 80 through the air. But the biggest one of the day was the 65-yarder that came on just a check down that I absolutely loved. We've talked about it a little bit, but Kyle McCord, spent the day, Rutgers was trying to take everything away deep down the field. He did a really nice job of checking it down and not trying to force things. And when you check it down to some of your elite guys, things like that play can happen where he just caught a little hitch route over the ball. Maybe the ball went 10 yards in the air. He turned up the field, turned on the burners, man. It was fun to watch it and just totally dusted the Rutgers defense for a 65-yard gain. And it's like little things like that on it was a third down that just break the will of the opposing defense. And you could see it a number of different times throughout the game today. He's a special, special back.
Yeah, and I think more than anything else, what Trey told us a couple of weeks ago about making a better decision this year in not trying to rush back, where last year he was just trying to show the toughness to like play through an injury, and ultimately it hurt him more in the long run because he was never himself, and then people started questioning his toughness and wondering if he was good enough to play at this level, and and I'm not talking about Division I, but to play at a place like Ohio State, because he didn't look like the TreVeyon Henderson that we knew he could be, what we saw from him freshman year. So he takes, a little bit of a cheap shot against Notre Dame, and it knocked him out for a couple of weeks because he wasn't ready. And when he made the decision, okay, I'm finally ready, I'm back and healthy, you saw what that looked like last week against Wisconsin, and man, did you see it again today. So I hope he can continue to stay healthy, but there's no doubt that this offense looks so much different when he's out there. And that's not a knock on Chip Traynham or on Mayan Williams when Mayan was still able to play before he got hurt. I like what we've seen from Dallin Hayden for sure. Haven't really gotten a chance to see anything from Evan Pryor because he's sort of fallen on the depth chart after dealing with injuries during his career. But there is a really, really high-level running back on this Ohio State offense. And when he's at full go, man, he changes things big time.
He's really amazing because oftentimes when you think of the great running backs, they're good at a couple things, right? Where either they can get between the tackles and really finish with a punch and, deliver, tough, hard-nosed runs, or they're the speed guys where they get on the edge and they burn you down the sidelines. Well, TreVeyon's got that unique and rare mix of both. Where, hey, if you need a monster play, you can get him on the edge and he'll beat you to the edge and get down the field for a long gain. Or we saw it at the end. If you're trying to milk the clock out and run down the clock or get hard, tough yards, you hand it to him, and he's going to just run through someone's face and make them punish them for being in his way. So he's got that. It's super rare and it's super unique, and his ability to have both of those skill sets is pretty special. And the way that I loved what you had just said about his approach to coming back. And he just saved a couple weeks on his legs too. These are long football seasons, and when you can do that, you come back, he looks fresh. He looks really, really fresh, and he's running like it.
Well, it's good to have him back for sure. And Kyle McCord can lean on him. That's for sure. And frankly, Ryan Day can lean on him because Ryan has made it extremely clear he wants to have balance in his play calling, and he felt like that even when Justin Fields and when C.J. Stroud were out there offensively. It's not because there was a lack of ability to throw the ball. He just wants to run and show that we can do both. And this year, I think it's even more out of necessity than desire to have that balance. And so TreVeyon is really showcasing that he's a pretty special guy.
And today, look at the stats today, 26 attempts passing the ball and 29 rushes, 2 of those being Kyle McCord. So, and those were both sacks, I believe. So there you go, 26 passes and 27 runs. So exactly where he wants to be, 189 yards through the air, 139 on the ground. I mean, that's Ohio State football. You maybe want those yards to be a little bit better, but the play calling is perfectly balanced right where Ryan Day wants it, and makes this team really, really tough to stop, even on a day where they don't have their best game.
Buckeyes 35, Rutgers Scarlet Knights 16 as Ohio State improves to 9-0. They've got a big one coming up next weekend at home with Michigan State. Then the Gophers will come into town. The Gophers, PJ Fleck from Minnesota. They'll be on their way to Columbus in 2 weeks. Then there's a game up in Ann Arbor we're looking forward to being at, too, in 3 weeks' time. For Anthony Moeglin, I'm Brendan Gulick. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Buckeyes Now on Fan Nation, part of the SI Media Group. We would certainly appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for all the latest news and information on the team, head over to BuckeyesNow.com.